And finally, consider this. First, the stipulations. It was an honor to anchor all those Olympics on NBC. I'll always value the varied experiences, personal and professional, the travelogue aspect, and the memories of the dramatic moments and moving stories I was privileged to help present. I appreciated the dedication and talent of those I worked for and with at NBC, and that high regard remains as they present these Tokyo Games under challenging circumstances. The enduring appeal of the Olympics is obvious. The extraordinary, at times almost superhuman performances, the sheer beauty of the competition and of many of the competitors themselves, the cultural panorama. All of that is compelling, as is the honest emotion that often accompanies it. Of course, it is concurrently true that over its history, the Olympics have survived cancellations during world wars, a disgraceful embrace of Hitler, the racism and anti-Semitism of longtime IOC President Avery Brundage, terrorist attacks, disastrous cost overruns for host cities, boycotts, and scandals too numerous to detail. And yet, the Games endure. So maybe then, the Olympics, like college basketball's March Madness, has too much going for it to ever be undone by the corruption and hypocrisy of those who govern their competitions. But the IOC continues to test that premise, and a confluence of current circumstances may once and for all pull the curtain back. Despite overwhelming disapproval from the Japanese public and from health experts worldwide, the IOC pressed ahead in Tokyo. No fans, no families, but also no mandate for athletes and accompanying personnel to be vaccinated. Even if, as remains to be seen, there are no widespread or individually tragic medical consequences, a pall hangs over these games, a pall that has commercial as well as emotional consequences. But the IOC bears almost none of the burden of Tokyo's massive cost overruns or NBC's reduced ratings and revenues. As written, the contractual risks and rewards all favor the IOC. And now, no sooner will Tokyo's already flickering flame be extinguished than it will be on to the Winter Games in February. Where? In the skiing and skating mecca of Beijing, where lofty talk of the Olympic ideals will ring particularly hollow. Both Human Rights Watch and Amnesty International rank China as among the world's worst human rights violators, given its population, global influence, and ongoing brutal use of government power. China might actually rank first on that wretched list. An inconvenient fact, by the way, for socially conscious American athletes who sometimes offer sweeping condemnations of their own imperfect country while turning a blind eye to the monstrous crimes of a regime they, Nike, the NBA, and other sports entities are all in bed with and are loath to offend. And that most certainly includes the IOC, with its troubling affinity for authoritarian regimes. The 2008 Summer and now 2022 Winter Olympics were granted to Beijing. In between, the 2014 Winter Games were in Sochi, where Vladimir Putin's operatives switched samples of Russian drug cheats right under the noses of the IOC. And Putin burnished his image with his countrymen even as he readied to invade Ukraine as the Olympics were taking place. But no matter. Regimes like Russia and China answered to no one about almost anything, and certainly not their investments in the Olympics, which include lavish accommodations and other considerations for Olympic officials. Putin reportedly spent a ruble's equivalent of $55 billion on the Sochi extravaganza, which doesn't even include the cost of the cloak and dagger operation that gave me pink eye. Unlimited budgets. Yeah, that's right. Thank you very much. Unlimited budgets, combined with the other realities of authoritarian countries, lead to spectacular opening ceremonies, fewer organizational problems for the IOC, and who knows what other perks for key IOC delegates, many of whom are still peeved at the United States after a free press and congressional investigation blew the cover off the Salt Lake bid scandal prior to the 2002 Winter Olympics. Over the years, when I made these and related points on the air and put those questions to the leaders of the IOC, the answer always went something like this. We believe the presence of the Olympic Games in these countries will moderate their behavior and promote Olympic and democratic ideals. How's that working out? Granted, Not every decision in some way impacting the Olympics is tied directly to the IOC. Various national and international governing bodies play a part. Still, in the big picture, here's where we are. An Olympics forced upon its host city and the world during a pandemic, immediately followed by another held in a nation whose ongoing actions are antithetical to the supposed ideals of the Olympics and the platitudes that surround them. Seldom has the imperious nature of the IOC and its malleable definition of principle been so starkly revealed. Just so we have this straight, Sha'Carri Richardson smokes a little weed and she can't run in the Olympics. But if your country is run by an international thug or is guilty of widespread ongoing human rights abuses, well then, your country can host the Olympics. We're back on the record next month. See you then.